Welcome back to LEGO Battlebots. We are on to episode 2 now, and kicking things off, we have a match between Orbital Fire and Gigabyte. Orbital Fire was last season's number 4 seed, made it to the top 16 before getting knocked out in an upset by Huge. Meanwhile, Gigabyte also made last season's top 16, but as a much lower seed, it was able to knock out Bronco in the first round, but then fell to Flipper Hydra. Now, Orbital Fire is a flipper, so it could absolutely throw Gigabyte out of the arena, but Gigabyte has received a massive upgrade over the offseason. It's now much heavier, it's much bigger overall, so it should be able to deal a lot more punishment while taking a lot more of its own. So let's go down to the arena to see if the upgrades pay off for Gigabyte. Let the bot battle begin. Gigabyte spins up and rips off the flipper of Orbital Fire. This is not good for the flipper as they are in some serious trouble. They have no defense. Oh, there goes a part. That's one of the plates that connects both sides of the chassis. If the other one comes off, this fight is over. Gigabyte hitting so much harder than we're used to seeing and looking so much more stable as well. Those upgrades seem to be working off really well. And that's gonna do it. The other plate comes off, and this fight is over.
9,
what a first
8,
victory for
7,
Gigabyte. That
6,
was
5,
incredible. I don't
4,
think we've seen that
3,
weapon power before from Gigabyte.
1, knockout.
As I said, those upgrades paid off, ripping off the flipper in a single shot, and then just only a couple more shots later, Orbital Fire was dead in the water. Gigabyte's upgrade paying off huge in its first fight of this season. Now I'm looking forward to seeing what this bot can do as we progress through the season. Next up, we have Blue Flame taking on OMNI. Blue Flame coming from the Losers League, barely making it out at 3-2. Though 3 of those wins were 3 of the 4 wins Blue Flame has had in its career, so yeah, it's not been doing too well. Meanwhile, OMNI's overall record is 3-2, as it's only fought in Battle of the Builders. It made the top 16 as the number 9 seed, I want to say, was the best 3rd place. But it got knocked out in the first round by Pirate's Curse, so it's looking to have a better run this time around. It's going to come down to who can get underneath and rip off the other bot's wedge first, because I have a feeling that's the way this fight is going to go. Let's see if that is true down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. OMNI is the bot who gets underneath and flips Blue Flame over and lands another shot to flip it right back up. Oh, that's a nasty shot. Both bots get overturned, but OMNI able to self-right while Blue Flame is stuck on its side.
9,
it can't get down
8,
from there. The countdown
7,
is on.
6,
This fight is
5,
already going to be
4,
over.
3, 2, 1, knockout.
A very quick win for OMNI. They got underneath. Their wedge was better, and they managed to put Blue Flame on their side, giving them a quick knockout win, while Blue Flame takes yet another defeat. That's the 10th one in its career so far. Up next, we have Switchback taking on Subzero. Switchback in the offseason got a big redesign that completely overhauled the robot to look more like its World Championship 7 design in real life, resulting in a much more like Whiplash-esque design, but still with that same old weapon power we've seen from the past 2 seasons. Meanwhile, Subzero had to fight in the Losers League, and it did 4-1 in there, so a pretty solid performance from that. Now it's going to be interesting to see if Subzero, whose flipper is able to actually lift the increased weight of the new Switchback. It's going to be interesting to see how well that lifter drum combo of Switchback actually performs. Let's see how that fight goes down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Subzero getting underneath Switchback, flips Switchback, but doesn't really get much. Now it's Switchback underneath Subzero. The tip of Subzero's flipper is now gone, and Switchback takes Subzero into the corner. Not a good start now for Subzero as they lose a piece of one of their front wedges. They need to get out of that corner, but Switchback just not letting them escape. Trying to self-right. Now Switchback trying to use that lifter to get them out of the arena. Not working though, but now it is, and that's gonna do it. Well, it was Subzero who landed the first attack, but that was the only attack they landed. It was not that great a flip, though they didn't have the best angle. Switchback underneath from there and was able to control the fight. Subzero was never right side up after this. Just complete control from the Switchback later on the fight. The upgrades did prove to be enough, at least for this fight, and Switchback is now 1-0. Fight number 4 is a clash between bots from Battle of the Builders. We have Grilled Cheese taking on Bonk. Grilled Cheese made it to the quarterfinals for Battle of the Builders before being knocked out by eventual winner Nemesis, while Bonk started in the same heat as Nemesis and eventually went 1-3 in the heat, barely making it as the 14th seed before going on a massive run all the way to the finals before it would fall again to Nemesis. But anyways, that was a very decent run from Bonk. It's kind of surprising. But now they also have upgrades. That wedge is a bit bigger, and the chassis is overall a little bit better. But that's not really going to matter if they can't get underneath Grilled Cheese. But Grilled Cheese definitely has a very capable lifter, and that wedge is going to be a challenge to get past. But if Bonk can get underneath, then Grilled Cheese, the very lightweight bot that it is, could be in some serious trouble. So let's go down to the arena and see how this fight plays out. Let the bot battle begin. It's Grilled Cheese getting underneath Bonk and already flipping the Hammer bot over, trying to get them out of the arena, trying to finish this fight before it even has a chance to start. But Bonk, having none of that, counters and slams Grilled Cheese into the wall, flips them over with that hammer. Great counterattack by Bonk, but they've got to do that more consistently as Grilled Cheese gets underneath again, and again now putting them into the screws. Grilled Cheese so far seems to be the lower bot overall. Bonk comes out incredibly quick to self-right, but Grilled Cheese just gets right back underneath. Bonk needs to get around that wedge and stop going head-to-head. That is not working, and they are out. A hectic, fast-paced fight. Grilled Cheese clearly was the lower bot overall. Bonk had its great moment. Well, it had one great moment, and that was pretty dang well in that, but Grilled Cheese was just low overall. Took more control and just was able to use that weapon a lot more effectively to flip Bonk over, throw them around, and eventually get them out of the arena. Close fight, but Grilled Cheese is the winner. Continuing onward, we have Bad Revolution taking on Lunar New Year. Bad Revolution was one of the few bots to go undefeated in its seed in Battle of the Builders. It got the number 2 seed and won its first fight before eventually falling in a massive upset to Venom in the quarterfinals, taking on Lunar New Year, who fought in the Losers League, and with a victory over Bite Force, I think that was their final victory, they were able to escape at a 3-2 record. It's gonna come down to ground game, because if Bad Revolution gets underneath, that wedge is gonna come off, and Lunar New Year is gonna have a ton of problems. They are very unreliable, but if Lunar New Year gets underneath, Bad Revolution cannot self-right, and one massive shot from that vertical disc could end things. So let's go down to the arena to see who wins this fight. Let the bot battle begin. Both bots spin up, and Lunar New Year has already flipped Bad Revolution in a single shot. Oh! And a solid follow-up, but it doesn't need to do this. Lunar New Year does not need to keep attacking, and they land one less attack, but now they're finally backing off. Lunar New Year attempts fate, and the gods do not strike it down. But that's a very fast win for Lunar New Year, and a great start to their season.
Knockout.
Well, not much to say. Lunar New Year won this fight in the first hit, decided to go in for a couple more shots, and somehow it didn't come back to bite him. So, good win for Lunar New Year. Moving on, we have Bot of Italy facing off against Cobalt. Bot of Italy was in Battle of the Builders, and they took the number 3 seed after upsetting channel mascot Nemesis in the heat rounds. But they did lose to Bonk in that very first tournament fight, so they're kind of a bit lower than you might expect. As for Cobalt, they made last season top 32 after winning a play-in match against, I believe, Son of Waiachi, but they got immediately demolished by Hydra instead. So, both bots looking to make some good runs this season. And it's going to come down to whose wedges is going to be more effective. Bottom Italy's wedges are very vulnerable, as pretty as they may look, but Cobalt's wedges aren't that great either, and it also cancels right. So let's go down to the arena to see who can claim the win. Let the bot battle begin. Cobalt spins up its weapon, hoping to do some damage to those wedges, or perhaps maybe the flipper directly. Either one would be very good for Cobalt. Now Bot of Italy gets underneath and lands a massive flip. Cobalt on its side. Bot of Italy shoves it in the space between the pit and the screws, and this fight is already over. All it takes, one flip, and you could be done with any of these flippers. Just a little bit of dancing, and then Bot of Italy got the flip it needed to go to 1-0 as Cobalt takes its first loss of the season. Fight number 7 sees our first rookies of the season, Goldflisper and Eliminator. Goldflisper, built by Cheezer Cheld, is a gold flipper. It's got some pretty good durability on that front wedge, but it's kind of unstable. It's only 2-wheel drive. It kind of rocks back and forth, so that's a problem they're going to have to worry about. Maybe not in this fight as much, but definitely later on in the season. As for Eliminator, it's an undercutter spinner built by Brick and Diecasts that hits decently hard, but it's a very lightweight bot overall. Though it is truly invertible, either right side up or upside down, that weapon can still spin and do damage. So an interesting test for both of these bots. Let's see who's able to get their first ever win. Let the battle of the rookies begin. Eliminator already gets flipped, deflected off of that wedge of Goldflisper. Oh, massive flip there as Goldflisper continues to outwedge Eliminator, trying to throw them out of the arena right from the start of this fight. I love what the yellow rookie is doing. Eliminator struggling to get through that wedge, and Goldflisper completely taking advantage of that as Eliminator just rams into the wall there, and that is gonna do it. That's a great first win from Goldflisper. They did exactly what they needed to do. Use that wedge to deflect the horizontal spinner of Eliminator. Just look at that flip. That's a great flip out of the rookie. And eventually they got them out of the arena for a quick and decisive first career knockout. It's time for the main event, and I forgot to put main event on the top thing. Oh well. It's Sawblaze versus Hydra, a real-life rematch. Hydra was able to dominate the IRL match and get with the win by just decision, though they should have just taken the knockout. And here they are in LEGO. Sawblaze, the Season 2 champion, struggled to make it to the tournament, but was able to make through and push its way all the way to the quarterfinals before they got absolutely mauled by Cherry Blossom. As for Hydra, they went undefeated. They did not struggle to make the tournament. 4-0, took the number 3 seed, and won 2 fights before falling to channel mascot Nemesis, losing to absolutely brutal horizontal spinners for both bots. But moving forwards, these two who are looking to get underneath the other. Sawblaze looking to control the fight. And it doesn't really have the weapon power, though. Those forks on Hydra are not that durable. As for Hydra, it's looking to throw Sawblaze around the arena. Sawblaze is not one of the heaviest bots in the field by a decent margin, so Hydra's flipper should have no trouble flipping it, but it does have to get underneath. The battle of last season's quarterfinalists won a former champion. Let's see who can take the win down in the arena. Let the main event begin. Sawblaze already outwedging Hydra, dropping that hammer saw, trying to break those forks early. If Hydra loses all of those forks, then this fight is pretty much over. And now they're trying to get away, but Sawblaze puts Hydra up under the screw. Sawblaze attacking those forks directly with that hammer saw. That saw can be used precisely, but it's also just not that powerful. It's really the drivetrain of Sawblaze and just the ability to control that's much more effective at doing damage. And there you see, oh, that's a piece of somebody that came off there. I think that might have been a piece of armor off of Sawblaze, but Hydra has also lost. That's definitely Hydra's forks gone in the process. At least one side is gone. Only one side remains. It's hard to tell. I think Sawblaze does actually. Yes, I think Sawblaze has both sides of its armor. More importantly, they are dominating this fight, and Hydra is one set of forks away from being screwed over. Hydra trying to find opportunity, but Sawblaze just keeps taking control, keeps getting underneath it, just keeps putting them into the screws. Sooner or later, those forks are going to come off. If this keeps up, Hydra needs to get a flip in, and they need to do it in a hurry. Sawblaze is not going to let up, and they're just going to keep pushing Hydra around, keep controlling, keep getting underneath. Hydra needs to just first get out of Sawblaze's grasp in order to do that. And there we go, that doesn't work that time. But Hydra now gets underneath, wastes no time, flipping Sawblaze, and takes them into the corner. What a flip from Hydra. That is not what Sawblaze wants to see. But Sawblaze now right backs up, resets. This goes right back underneath Hydra. That fight did not return, but now, Hydra flips Sawblaze again. Instead of going in for another one, they're backing off. Can Sawblaze self-right? I don't think they can. Hydra doesn't think they can. Sawblaze certainly trying, but looks like this is gonna be a knockout. What a comeback by Hydra in its first fight of the season. For most of that fight, it was Sawblaze taking complete control. I mean, they were getting underneath Hydra at every exchange, putting them in the screw several times. He even got off half the side of forks, which was the left side that came off, and Hydra was looking like they were in some serious trouble. Primarily because they were, in fact, in serious trouble. You see the fork break off there, and they Sawblaze also almost got Hydra into the pit, which would have ended the fight instantly because that's how the pit works. It's an instantaneous knockout. But Hydra was able to weather the storm, and eventually, somehow, I'm still not sure how they managed to do this, they found an opening to get underneath Sawblaze and get the start that first flip. And while they were able to get another massive flip, it wasn't really that big Sawblaze in. Sawblaze still had all of his forks after that flip. They landed pretty dang well. But it was this final flip that turned Sawblaze on its head, and they were unable to self-right, giving Hydra the knockout.